So I was at the goddamn, just woke up. I was at the gym the other day, and I was playing basketball with these guys that I knew from high school, and these guys were pretty attractive, right? Like girls always talked to them, wanted them. They were always very social with the girls. I wasn't. My motivation wasn't really to be around girls. Obviously, that was probably an excuse. I just didn't talk to them. But these two guys, they were very good with getting girls, or they were very popular around school. And so we were having a conversation about like our sleep schedules, and we were talking about like what time we go to bed and what time we wake up. And I was telling them like, yo, I go to bed probably at like 10, 11, 12 o'clock, probably the latest. And I wake up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, like 8 a.m. And they were like taken back. They were like, huh? You wake up at what time? Like they was calling me the military man because I was waking up so early and I was going to bed so early. But they couldn't understand like, how am I this young in doing all that? Because they've been conditioned by modern media and family members and older men who really aren't that successful, but they're trying to give young men advice on women, which is kind of weird, right? Like man working a job he don't like, with kids he don't want to have, with baby mamas and whatever. It's all crazy. But anyways, they've been told by the modern day that they need to focus on women, they need to have their fun, and then they can focus on their career. When I asked them what time these guys go to bed and what times they wake up, these guys said, oh, I'll be going to bed at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., sometimes 4 a.m. I'll be playing video games all day. And these are popular guys. Like these are guys that like they can get girls. You feel what I'm saying? These are chads, or what you would say, the alpha males. And they go to bed at these late times and they play video games. And then I asked them what time they wake up. They say they wake up at noon. They wake up at 1 p.m., 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Gang. That's crazy, man. Like I was actually taken back, because I know a lot of young kids in this generation, they wake up at like their parents allow them to wake up at later times because throughout the entire week they're in school. And so they wake up at like 7 a.m., 6 a.m. to go to school for 8 hours. And then they come back home at 3 p.m. or 2 p.m. And in the fall, most of the time the sun is already down, or in the winter, the sun's already down. So they basically get no sunlight throughout the day, which is really messed up. But hey, man, they ain't the first ones to go through it. I went through it. Everybody else before me went through it. So we can complain all we want, but probably ain't gonna change none. I mean, who knows? Keep complaining. Anyways, I was taken back by just the fact that like it's a lot easier to get into the top 20% of men than I thought. Like, obviously it's not easy to get into the top 20%, but like everybody knows what they have to do. Like, think about that. Everybody knows what they have to do. Everybody has the same access to the same information. Everybody has access to YouTube. Most people have access to YouTube, but we're not going to get into technicalities, bro. Most people have access to the internet, social media, YouTube. They have access to boatloads of information, whether on masculinity, on building business, on making money, on spirituality, mental health. There's so much information. There's this channel on just being a man, masculinity, spirituality. It's so easy when you break it down to get into the top 20% of men, because there's really no competition, especially depending on the country you live in, the state that you live in. If you live in America, right? Like that really makes a big difference. If you live in Florida, right, or California, there's going to be more competition. But if you live in a state like Ohio, Michigan, Midwest states, right, there's not that many famous people. There's very underground famous people. Like maybe there's TikTokers who have a very bad social skills, very awkward, but they don't really put themselves out there like that. They don't really go out in the day to day and try and put themselves out there to try and like like talk with their fans and get together with their fans and take pictures with people. And if someone asks them for a picture, they'll take it, but they're really kind of awkward, right? They don't really want to put themselves out there. But just depending on your area, depending on where you live, there's really no competition. There really isn't. I mean, just imagine that, bro. Imagine you getting into the top 10% of men, you getting into the top 20%. You leaving the bottom 80% of men is just you waking up and going to bed at the same time every single day. Think about that. Just being consistent in your sleep-wake cycle and in the normal day-to-day self-improvement stuff, like going to the gym, maybe doing 100 push-ups when you first wake up, meditating, taking your cold showers. Just by doing that alone, you will just naturally become more productive. Just by doing that stuff, you will beat out the bottom 80% of men. Isn't that crazy? These are guys that are considered the alpha males. They're considered good looking, attractive. So you may have a Chad in your school. You may have an alpha male in your school who's kind of an asshole, kind of a bully. And he may talk a lot of shit, but he's good with a lot of girls. And he's definitely not like a nice guy. You know how they say nice guys finish last. He's not a nice guy. But women flock to him, and you've been nice all this time, but women won't come for you. I mean, I may not be talking about you, bro. I may be talking about someone else. Anyways, but yeah, man, Chads do bad habits too. You got these guys who are popular, good looking, good with women. They vape, they smoke weed, they drink, underage drinking. They go out and party all the time. They're playing video games all the time. They eat so much junk food. They do all these bad habits. And imagine for a second that like that guy is peaked in high school. You haven't. Some of your worst years were in high school. That's why I don't have a problem with not being the most attractive guy in high school. I don't have a problem being a late bloomer because I don't want to be the guy that peaked in high school. I don't want to be that guy who's always going back to the good old days of, high school was so great, or college was so great, university was so great, man. I miss them days. I don't want to be that guy. I want to keep going up and up and up and up. And I can literally beat out most men in this race just by doing this every day, just by posting content every day or every other day, just by going to the gym every day, getting more lean, getting more attractive. I can literally finding new ways to make money, finding new side hustles and ways that I can up my monthly finances or whatever. Like just by doing that, whitening my teeth, being consistent with my skincare, taking care of my skin, I can literally beat out most guys just by being consistent, just by going to bed at the same time every single day. Going to bed at 10 p.m. and waking up at 8 a.m. Damn, how many hours? That's 10 hours, shit. Going to bed at 10 p.m. and waking up at 6 a.m. Going to bed at midnight, whatever, and waking up at 8 a.m. Right? Now, I know everybody has jobs and whatever, so they don't have time to maybe be a YouTuber and record content. Wake up earlier. Go to bed earlier and wake up earlier. Stop being lazy, bro. This is not the time to be lazy. This is the time to get excited. Like, you could win. We could win. You feel what I'm saying? All we have to do is just do the right things for 1-2 years. That ain't shit. That's the same thing as it takes years to build your dream body. The years are going to go by anyways, so you might as well spend them taking care of yourself, doing stuff for yourself. I said this before and I'll say it again. Self-improvement is the highest form of self-love. You want to love yourself? Get in that gym, lose that weight or gain weight and build that muscle. Get rid of that acne, get rid of the black spots. Go get on sunscreen, go get on Teach Hanley skin routine. Go start going to the barber, get haircuts, whiten your teeth. And then after that, find ways to become rich. Find ways to become financially free at a young age. you will most definitely separate yourself from the competition if you become financially free in your 20s. I know it's possible. I know it's possible. Do you? And it's not a matter of if you believe it. Are you willing to do the work to become financially free? But if you don't want to do it, you can at least watch my journey and hopefully gain motivation from it. But yeah, I need to get out of here. So subscribe for more videos. If you like this type of content, you know what to do. Comment, like, whatever. Yeah. We growing, we moving, and we locked in. Love you.